Hello, I'm Cheryl Overs and I'm one of the founders of the Australian Prostitutes Collective. I only met Margo once, so I don't have strong personal memories of her, but I have a very strong image of the way in which she transformed the sex workers' rights movement and how she influenced us here in Australia. When we first started, we kind of inherited an analysis of sex workers or prostitutes' rights as it then was, which focused largely on the economic inequalities and the economic injustices that forced women to become sex workers. And this was a fairly traditional left analysis in Britain and Australia. But as we all now know, that is only a part of the picture. Of course, it is true. But that analysis really doesn't erode the idea of the sex worker as victim, and it doesn't really advance our demand for law reform. In order for those things to be built into the sex workers' rights analysis and our campaigning and our vision, we needed to address stigma. We needed to understand the role of minorities and of LGBTQI people in sex work. We needed to understand the dynamics around the third parties involved in sex work in a more informed way than the straight up left analysis. And Margo really brought that to the fore for us. What Margo brought was a few things. One was a take on human rights and a way forward that was founded in the American civil rights movement. Protest, visibility, demands for equality at cultural, political and legal and economic levels became a pillar of the sex workers' rights movement, as largely as a result of Margo's work. And of course, the stigma was not really eroded by the economic analysis, and that's why before Margo and before COYOTE, we saw sex workers in masks. When they gave an interview on TV, it would be with a disguised voice. Margo put her face, her body, her name to sex workers' rights, and that was extremely important, as we now know, in relation to stigma. She also provided extraordinary leadership, and today's memorial is a testimony to that. So I'd like to thank everybody who organised this. We really do need to own and advance our own history of the sex workers' rights movement, as others are too often likely to write our history for us. So thank you very much for that to all of you. And shout out to all the young sex worker activists who've succeeded my generation, and I'm sure that Margo's legacy lives on in them as we go from strength to strength in the coming decades. Valet Margo.